All right, thank you guys. We are coming off a perfect 3-0 day yesterday in our premium sports picks on patreon.com/Brock Page. And of course, that's a website that I operate that gives you premium daily sports picks beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. And we're also a perfect 4-0 straight up in our last four Underdog tier package plays as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But before we go ahead and move on, let's take a look at some Russian Liga Pro table tennis action. And we're going to take a look at Denis Sionov squaring off against Alex Petrov in a 6 p.m. Eastern showdown. Petrov's coming off a solid 3-1 victory over Denis Sionov in his last outing. Petrov's also on a 2-match win streak with a solid 3-2 victory over Yevgeny Ilyukin during that span as well. Meanwhile, Sionov, on the other side, is currently on a 2-match losing streak himself, including an embarrassing 3-0 shutout loss to Alex Skrebnev during that stretch. Then he also dropped 3 out of his last 4, including a 3-1 defeat at the hands of Yevgeny Ilyukin as well. Out of Sionov's last 14 matches, he's been victorious in just 4 of them, including 5 shutout defeats during that span. Gotta fade Sionov in this spot here. Give me Alex Petrov winning that one outright for some moneyline cash. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and purslines out for Tuesday's Russian Liga Pro table tennis action. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you're having a good start to your week. Now, before we go ahead and move on with the program, I just want to quickly remind you, once again, to check me out on my website at patreon.com/Brock Page, where we came off a perfect, just a wonderful 3-0 day yesterday in all of our premium picks on that website yesterday. We're also 4-0 in our last 4 Underdog tier package plays on that website as well. Very good package for us right now. We do daily premium sports picks on that website beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. We also have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Currently, we have well over 550 members currently signed up and active on that page. Now, you might be wondering, why would all those folks sign up to receive Patreon picks, where they can get them right here for free on YouTube? And that's certainly a great point, a great concern. But there is a big problem with me handicapping every single game that's on the board, side and total. And the problem is this. If you were to bet every single game that's on the board that I put out here on YouTube, side and total, with your sports betting app on your phone or however you place your bets, you are certainly, well, you're almost guaranteeing yourself failure. And I know that sounds crazy, but you just got to hear me out. If you're going to go ahead and bet every single game that's on the slate with your hard-earned money, it's certainly not a winning formula for success. And as a matter of fact, it's a recipe for disaster. The books are way too smart. They're way too sharp. They have a lot more money than you and I do combined to be able to absorb that kind of action. And most important, guys, the math becomes aggressively against you the more and more games you play like that. So what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you. I break it down and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage picks, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current Patreon record is a whole lot better than it is here on YouTube. Let's try that again. It's a lot better than me handicapping every single game here on YouTube, side and total. Anyway, the good news is this. If you want to check out my current Patreon record, you can do that for free right now. It's located right on the homepage. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. And once again, that is patreon.com/Brock Page. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive back into some more free lines and purslines right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Kirill Abramov squaring off against Dmitry Merzlinkin in a 6:30 p.m. start time. Merzlinkin comes into this matchup as the $1 underdog. Abramov's minus 140 on the money line himself. Abramov is coming fresh off a 3-0 decimation of Alex Chensov in his most recent outing. He's also been victorious in 2 out of his last 3, including another shutout victory during that span. a 3-0 win over Vlad Petrov during that stretch. Kirill's won 5 out of his last 6 matches, good for 83% during that span. Not only has Abramov's last 3 victories come by way of shutout, he's 9-3 straight up in his last dozen outings, good for a win percentage of .750 during that span. Merzlikhin on the other side is coming fresh off a difficult 3-2 loss to Vlad Petrov in his last outing. Dimitri's been victorious in just 3 out of his last 8, including 2 shutout losses during that span. And one more thing to add, out of Dimitri's last dozen outings, he's been victorious in just 5 of them, including 3 shutout losses during that stretch. I got to fade Merzlikhin in this spot right now. Give me Kirill Abramov -140, getting the job done for some moneyline cash. Next contest, Bogdan Grebenyuk squaring off against Andrei Kirilenko in a 6:30 p.m. Eastern showdown. Kirilenko has been victorious in 2 out of his last 3, including an impressive 3-0 shutout victory over Vlad Safanov during that stretch. He also beat Dmitry Kolesnikov 3-1 during that span as well. Andrei's 7-1 record in his last 8 is good for a win percentage of .875 during those contests. Even more impressive, Andrei's 12-1 straight up in his last 13 outings, with shutout victories over the likes of Safanov and Kolesnikov during that run. Now Grebenyuk on the other side, he's really struggled as of late, coming fresh off an embarrassing 3-0 shutout loss to Safanov in his last contest. He's also right in the middle of a 3-match losing streak, with 2 out of those 3 L's coming by way of shutout. Bogdan's 3-5 record in his last 8 is good for just 37%. Even worse, out of Bogdan's last 16 matches, he's been victorious in just 4 of them, including 6 shutout losses during that stretch. Doesn't look like too good of a spot here for Bogdan backers. Give me Andrei Kirilenko winning this one straight up in convincing fashion. All right, next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Vlad Nemeshkalo taking on Yevgeny Ilyukin in a 6:30 p.m. showdown. Ilyukin's coming fresh off an impressive 3-0 shutout victory over Alex Skrebnev in his last contest. Ilyukin's also been victorious in 2 out of his last 3, with both of those victories coming by way of shutout. Yevgeny's 4-1 record in his last 5 is good for 80% in that short span, with marquee victories over the likes of Skrebnev and Sayanov during that span. Yevgeny's also 9-5 in his last 14, with 5 of those wins coming by way of dominating shutout. Nemeshkalo on the other side has dropped 2 out of his last 3 himself, including a tough 3-2 loss at the hands of Alex Skrebnev. He also lost by the final of 3-2 to Denis Sayanov during those matches as well. Vlad's 1-4 record in his last 5 is good for just 20%. And his 5-12 record in his last 17 is good for a win percentage of just .294. Doesn't look too good of a spot here for Nemeshkalo backers. Give me Yevgeny Ilyukin getting the job done on the money line. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, and shout-outs from the Patreon platform. Shout-out to Justin Van Kuren, Jay Williams, John Klotz, Brian T., Terrell Parrott, Brandon Saunders, Robert Somerville, and Willie Slade. Shout-outs from Instagram, Michael David Haynes, Evil Play Entertainment, Jeremy Romo, Talfiq Gunawan, Wes Civils, Terry Fatigue, Lisa Keene, and Nurs Iskali. And finally, shout-outs from YouTube, James Medina, Romoy Reed, Carmen Alcala, Kirk Frazier, Goodnight Munchie, Griff HD, USA Animation, and last but certainly not least, gotta give a shout-out to my man, Beats to My Own Drums. That's right, that is one word, one name, Beats to My Own Drums. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, I can't thank you enough for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And once again, guys, we are on a very hot streak right now. I failed to mention earlier, we're also 4-0 in our last 4 extra daily pick tier package plays as well. And that's a package that I offer that's just $2.99 through the end of the month. A lot of great stuff going on, a lot of great content. Patreon.com/RogPage. But once again, guys, most importantly, I gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/RogPage.